Good morning and welcome to Derby Day. Chelsea host Tottenham Hotspur in the Under-18s Premier League, a fixture that, whatever the level, whatever the setting, means something to players and fans alike. 3 points will see either team assert themselves in the league table with only a point between them prior to kick-off, but 3 points will also cement bragging rights for the rest of the season. They currently sit with the Blues after an earlier season triumph in the return fixture 2-1, 4 of which starts this afternoon, I should say, which kicks off very, very soon. Firstly, though, before we bring you the 11, let's please welcome Chelsea legend, sat beside me this afternoon, Julie Flaherty. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Very kind of you to say the legend word there.
Pleasure. I mean, that is absolutely bang on. It's a mistake that I've already said good afternoon 3 times, and we've had this conversation already. It's an 11 o'clock kickoff, so we'll bring you that in a second. But excited to have you beside me this afternoon, eventually when we get there already, but looking forward to it.
Yeah, and what a game as well. Obviously, I've played in many games against Tottenham as a Chelsea player, and it's one that you say you get your bragging rights for the rest of the season, but it's one that you want to go out and you want to win, you want to get the 3 points. Absolutely,
and not just from a Chelsea perspective, but I can imagine playing Tottenham when you're an Arsenal player or a West Ham player has got a little bit on it as well.
Yeah, anytime really you play Tottenham, I don't think any club really likes them, to be fair.
It will be a good one this afternoon, especially because Chelsea are already slightly ahead in the league table, 19 points in third at the moment, played 11, won 6, we'll see on the league table at the moment. Spurs a little bit behind them, only a point behind, so there's not a lot between them prior to kick-off. When you look at those sort of similar in records, I guess today shows you a little bit of level compared to the teams around you, because let's be brutally honest, West Ham are far and away and probably not going to be caught now, so you're looking to be the best of the rest, aren't you?
Yeah, and most definitely. Obviously it's quite tight between, you're looking at obviously Crystal Palace are in second, there's only 1 point ahead, and obviously they've played a game more as well, so yeah, I think obviously West Ham are high up there at the table, so it is, yeah, about being the best of the rest and being as far up the table as you possibly can.
Especially as well because you look at the second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth teams are all London based. Yeah. Being the best in London is certainly bragging rights in itself.
Yeah, no, massively. I think obviously it will hurt them that West Ham are top, but yeah, being the best out of the rest of them there, and obviously you're looking at all of them are derbies as well. Yeah, Chelsea want to put themselves up in second place.
Let me ask you then, coming into games like today in terms of London derbies, do you prepare differently as a player, or are they the same, or is it kind of the fans that get swept up in it?
No, I do think naturally they've got an edge on them. I think obviously when times when I've played in the derby, managers and other players have made it well known, especially to international players, that this is a derby and you got to fight. It's going to be a lot more aggressive, and naturally you do see a lot more fouls and that. But yeah, no, definitely, I think it is. Everyone knows what a derby is and what it means to the club and players. So yeah, I mean fans help, but no, I definitely reckon players and managers help as well.
What about as a captain? Does it change your role slightly as well, coming into that, like you said, about sort of reminding players of how important it is, but also do you need to maybe temper yourself a little bit different from being a normal player to being a captain in games like today?
Yeah, I definitely noticed that at West Ham. I think when I was obviously at Chelsea I was vice, but obviously at West Ham I was the captain, and you want to get everyone motivated and fired up for it, being a derby, but at the same time you want to keep people level-headed, that you're not ending up getting players sent off, which we happened a couple of times at West Ham, and then it eventually is going to hurt you anyway. So it's about getting the right level and the balance.
What about in terms of picking an opposite number? Because obviously, this group of 18s and younger, a lot of them will have played in differing competitions against each other, and obviously Chelsea go out the Youth Cup on Thursday evening. So this is kind of the most important thing now. So you're looking at Michael Golding, who scored a worldie in the return fixture in the 2-1 win last year. If you're a Spurs defender, you're looking at him thinking, right, I know that he got the better of me last time out. I've got to assert myself early.
Yeah, 100%. You remember that as a player when you play up against teams and you come up against players, obviously for myself in the WSL a lot more regularly, and it was more of a consistent team you'd come up against. 1,000,000% you don't ever forget when a striker scores against you, or where they nutmeg you, or they do something to you. You will never forget that. So it's about them remembering that going into the game.
See, that's the thing that I find fascinating, again, as a fan, because obviously we remember them as fans and stuff like that, but I love to know that players do remember that as well.
It hurts your feelings.
I can sense, I'm not going to ask for any names, but I can see there's a couple on your lips already.
Get the tissues out, because I'll be crying.
You can see the players that are starting to make their way onto the pitch this morning. It's obviously, thankfully, a lot milder than it was last weekend. Obviously, I'm going to be beside you tomorrow for Chelsea-Liverpool in the FA Cup as well, which is going to be an exciting one, but there's not been a huge amount of football played. In essence, this is Chelsea's under-18s first fixture at Cobham in a number of months. But you look at their recent run, obviously a disappointing result on Thursday to go out of the FA Youth Cup against Cambridge. But then you flip back to only 2 weeks ago and they're beating Norwich 7-1 in the Premier League. So you can obviously continue on momentum-wise, but in terms of putting Thursday night to bed, there's a lot of these players that were unused substitutes on the night. I suppose that's going to be in front of their mind. Yeah,
100%. And I also think sometimes when you've had a loss, for example, you just want to play a game as soon as you can to rectify it. Sometimes it's the worst thing when you lose a game, and you lose a game in a game when you probably should have won, and then there's such a big gap to the next one. It plays on players' minds. So I think this is perfect, really, that they've got another game that they can then put the other night to bed and sort of focus on something else, and obviously, and it's a fresh game.
Absolutely right. 4 of the 11 that started the 2-1 win last time out start again for Chelsea, including Michael Golding, the match winner. In terms for Tottenham, Luca Gunter in goal. He's a kind of ever-present. And then you'll remember Will Lancashire from the return fixture. Jaden Williams is their current top goal scorer at number 7 to keep an eye on. Mikey Moore, the opposite flank as well, quite a tricky winger. So again, plenty of attacking options for Spurs. They're a good side. They're going to test us a lot here. But Lewis Flower, who begins up front for Chelsea, and Tyreek George as well, have both had very good under-18 Premier League campaigns so far. But this one's a different level. This one feels ready, it feels good, and it feels like a nice way to start the weekend as well. There's never a bad time to play a London derby, but to kick off the weekend properly, it feels like a nice start.
Yeah, no, definitely. So we need a win. We need a win today to set us up for tomorrow as well.
Absolutely right, absolutely right. Unfortunately, Chelsea didn't get a result in the PL2 last night against West Ham United. If you joined us for that one, it was a cracking game for the neutral. Not many neutrals probably going to be joining us for Chelsea Tottenham early on a Saturday morning, but I tell you what, if you are, it should be a good one as well, because Spurs, like we said, they're a good side themselves. Kind of every game that Spurs have been in have been tight games, really. I mean, they beat Villa 3-0 last time out, but before that, 4-3 loss to West Ham kind of shows you that they're of a level. West Ham are the team to beat at the moment, so going toe-to-toe with them shows that this will be a tough match for them this morning. It'll be very soon underway as Michael Golding gets ready to kick us off.
Gents, all the best. Just give me long enough for the sub and I'll buzz him, yeah? Come on, Reed! Come on! Come on, boys, eh, from the start, eh? Come on, boy!
Slightly overcast conditions at Cobham, but we are underway as Michael Golding and Sam Raksaki get Chelsea moving. Slow and patient build-up play that we're used to seeing throughout the academy system at Chelsea, and now into Graham Potter's first team as well. Early touching ball for Teddy Kerr, looking longer towards Lewis Flower. It's important for a centre-half to get a touch on the ball early. Did you like that, trying to get that in as early as possible for yourself in your playing career?
Yeah, and you do think about that as a player. Like you want to get the pass early doors, you want to win your first header, you want to get on it. And the longer the game goes on without touching it, I mean, there's been times in games when I've gone to players, can you just please pass me the ball just so I can touch it? I've not touched it for about 15 minutes.
Trying to get involved early. I like that. I like that. Well, Chelsea very quickly trying to assert themselves in possession as Brody Hughes playing a central defensive role. We've seen him play right back, right wing back quite a lot for the academy side, especially in the UEFA Youth League earlier on in the campaign, but playing at centre half today alongside Caden Wilson. There is Hughes. Yeah, for Noah Hay. Quickly on his touches, Linton. Is it bringing back some happy memories already, seeing the pitches at Cobham? And
yeah, they're beautiful, aren't they? It's been a while.
I can see already we've had a chat prior to the show starting about your future in coaching and management. So if at any point this afternoon Julie does go quiet, it's probably because she's scribbling away some notes. So I'll do my best to hold fort until
learning
then.
Some tactics while I'm here.
Well, as long as you don't come in tomorrow with a gilet on and a clipboard, then we'll know.
I'll bring me tactics board in tomorrow.
Opportunity for Spurs to try and build something from the back here. An early throw from Linton. Dorrington looking long towards Lancashire. Cam Martin. McKnight. Could be an opportunity for Lewis Flowers to nick in there, very close, but Dorrington shuts the door. You can see already though that Chelsea are being a little bit more patient than perhaps we've seen before in terms of the high press, not as aggressive as maybe it will be in a few moments, trying to feel each other out possibly.
That centre-back pass then made me a bit nervous though. My heart was in my mouth.
Still very much the playing mentality from Italy, definitely.
I think as well, sometimes as a centre-back, when you feel like you've got more time than what you've got, it's the simple passes that you can just muck up. Like it's a 5-yard pass that nearly got intercepted.
You're absolutely right. And again, well, I think it goes down to first couple of minutes of the game, doesn't it? And maybe that's the opportunity there that Lewis Flowers was banking on potentially coming his way, and he very, very nearly did get in. But Noah Hay going to press Linton very high up here. So it's clear. Foul on Brody Hughes. Nice easy free kick for the referee to get into there. Again, this patient approach is nice, and again, I suppose yourself as a ball-playing centre-half, you'd have enjoyed to play in this sort of system and got a lot of freedom stepping forward from the back at a young age. Yeah,
most definitely. I think obviously the Chelsea mentality was very much a centre-back, be confident on the ball, driving out from the back, and obviously it helps when you're playing with good players whose movement off the ball as well is there to help you out.
Very nearly a similar sweeping pass there from Raksaki, gets intercepted, but does well enough. The team really testing the position too much so far in the opening 4 minutes. Been quite a cautious, pensive approach from both, but early touches of the ball for both goalkeepers, which, again, like we were saying, probably pleases them a little bit, but feel their way into the game.
Definitely.
Here's Raksaki. Sorry, George looking over the top for Lewis Flower, very nearly. And his teammate. I find these games fascinating as well, because it's almost like you can still hear everything that's shouted on from both benches. And games like this morning, you can learn a lot as a fan listening to the opposition managers, and I guess again, very soon we'll be hearing your voice on a touchline doing likewise. I
think I'll be a lot louder than them, to be fair. Hopefully no swearing though, no swearing as a manager.
I'm sure in the heat of the battle everyone has a little bit, it's fine. Good step forward though from Alfred Dorrington here. Surging run down the left, he's going to pick out Mikey Moore. Brody Hughes enough to step in front of Will Lancashire before anything could really develop, but it's up rather than out still. Lancashire looking to get it in, but he can get rid.
Get out, Max! Well played, Max McKnight! Go on, Ree! Run, Rio! Move again, Rio!
Asking to be a little bit more dynamic from the Spurs bench. There was a game last season against in Chelsea Spurs. It finished 7-2, so we might get a game like that. You never know. Well, I think the deadlock had been broken by now, to be fair, in that one. So maybe we're chasing it a little bit, looking for 9 goals.
You never know. This is a game of football.
You never know.
Anything can happen.
Absolutely right. You never know. We had a very, very early flurry of goals actually in the 3-2 at Cobham here last year. Ronnie Sutter after a minute. Max McKnight starting at right back for Spurs after 6 minutes. So it is a little bit more of a patient approach from both, but just short of the half-hour mark before Michael Golding broke the deadlock in the last time these two teams met. As long as it ends with Chelsea 3 points, none of us will mind at all. Stepping from Boniface.
Don't drop no more, don't drop no more.
There's Noah Hay. Opportunity now for Chelsea to get some players in the box. Foul conceded by Alcessi. Instead, Hay goes short. It's a lovely switch of play. Here's Tyreek George, always a tricky customer. It's a lovely turn. Here's Golding. Boniface looking to hang it up towards Lewis Flower. Did you have a preference when you were playing in terms of, you know, would you rather a centre-half that was going to try and sort of physically match you, or did you prefer those ones to the tricky ones, or did you prefer the challenge of the fleet of foot?
No, I preferred playing against the big centre forwards, the ones who wanted the fight, wanted the battle, not the tricky, pacey skills and all. No, I will take the big lump any day of the week.
Could be an opportunity for Spurs here, though, breaking into the box. It's an early strike as well, but just misses the far corner. First sight in a goal, really. Kaya Martin with the effort. Teddy Kerr seemed comfortable in allowing it. Just sweet passes upright, but for a second there, Chelsea caught a little bit exposed on the counter-attack.
I think they've just got to do better there, though. Like, there's the pressure put on as he's driving through. It's not really convicting, do you know what I mean? They're still allowing him to get it out, to get the shot out. You just got to go and close it down a lot quicker and not let him open up for that shot.
Just the insight of a player that's been there and done it on countless occasions. Gilly Flaherty delighted to have her alongside us this morning.
It's only because I've been shouted at a lot by goalies for not closing the ball down.
Being far too modest there, far too modest. Linton back to Dorrington. That's been on the fringes of the L2 side and wanted to certainly training sessions with the first team. There's a number of players within this squad, to be fair, that I don't think will be too far off. Speaking to a friend of mine who's a big Spurs fan, he says that there's a couple of them that are coming through that are quite excited about. Jamie Donnelly's one of them that's largely in the PL2 team at the moment, but was in the 18s last year as a goal scorer. Lancashire, they signed from Sheffield United. Another one they've got a lot of high hopes for. Very much like Chelsea, though, there's always a conveyor belt of talent. It's just trying to pick out who you think's going to make it or who's going to be the next one to step up.
Yeah, and I think it's hard. Obviously, you compare the men's academy to a women's academy. It's obviously a lot harder, and there's a lot more boys in them academies, obviously, to push through. But you just got to try and get yourself in that top 1%, you know.
I guess that's a difficulty as well, isn't it? You know, you've almost made it by being there, being at the academy, being, you know, in and amongst it, but then you've still got so much hard work to do and so many quality players around you you're competing with on a daily basis. I'm sure that's brilliant on one hand because it makes you a better footballer for that, but also ever so much a difficult day-to-day existence almost.
Yeah, but not even you're talking about your own players in your own club, but international players that are abroad, and you're fighting with so many, you know, different players in England, in all countries to come over. So you're not just fighting with the players in your team.
Absolutely right. Jaden Williams winning the foul there. Feet from him. I suppose that's what you see as well. We were talking about the development team last night, and a couple of the players that have come back off loan spells. Harvey Vale being one who spent half the season on loan at Hull City and got injured playing for England under 19s, and then found himself out of the team on his loan spell, and in essence is now part of the development squad for the rest of the season. So many differing factors if you're playing international football as well, you've got to contend with at a young age as well. It's not, you know, it's not a sort of public facing, is it? As you know, you get injured on senior international duty, everyone knows about it. If you do it on the 19s, it takes perhaps 3 or 4 weeks for people to realise why you're not involved in the squad sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's difficult, and obviously then you've got to compete with obviously the why they're not playing and how long they're going to be out for, and obviously then you sort of get a little bit forgotten, whereas I think if it's a first team player that's out injured, everyone's talking about it, everyone knows his time scale, when he's back, what game he's back for, and obviously what a big loss they are to the team and stuff. But obviously when there's younger age groups, there's so many players that can replace that player. You know, it's difficult.
Absolutely right, yeah, and like we were saying beforehand in terms of, you know, this starting 11 that we saw on Thursday night in the FA Youth Cup could quite easily have started here. I mean, Harrison Murray Campbell, who was one of the starters on Thursday, has played virtually every minute of under-18s Premier League football this season. In fact, he's the only player to be involved in all 11 under-18s Premier League games, and he's on the bench this morning, but probably would have been involved, or not for that Thursday night game, but when you've got such a large pool, whenever you get an opportunity, you need to take it. And here is one of those players that has come in this morning, in Chibueze, looking to assert himself. Lucky with the high press though from Rio Martin. Does really well actually to intercept the Chelsea player. Referee gives the free kick, pulls it back for the earlier one. Chance for Tottenham now to test Chelsea's set-piece organisation. Again, as a centre-half, you're looking for a voice in here from a player. Does that stand out for you, who's directing traffic, as it were? Yeah,
most definitely. And for me, it's more the second phase. So as much as this bit now is important, obviously, of course it is, and players picking up, I find that the second phase is more dangerous. When it's cleared, sometimes players just naturally just run out, want to go to their positions. Then you've got 3 or 4 players standing at the back post, open. So, yeah, for me, it's more about switching on first and second.
Delivers an in-swing, that's a deep one as well. Chelsea able to deal with it. Lewis Flower harrying, concedes a free kick though. Another opportunity for Spurs potentially to waft one in, but Dorrington and Chaplin on this occasion retreat to their central defensive berths. Here's McKnight. Williams. Noah Hay can deal with it. Well defended there by Chinoza Chibueze.
Go on, Will! Go on, Will! Look down, Rio! Go on! Come on! Let's go, Will!
Not too much to separate the sides in the opening 15 minutes here at Cobham. Still goalless. Only one real attempt on goal from Kyle Martin for Spurs. Other than that, there's not been a huge amount for either goalkeeper to do so far. Chaplin.
Mikey inside! Go on, Mike! Doro, the numbers are here, Doro! Come on, Rio!
Spurs starting to build forward. Here's McKnight again. Against Tyreek George. Boniface can't get there either. It's a deep cross. Very nearly falls to the feet of Josiah Linton, who's going to get another opportunity here. Here's Moore. Oh, he does really well though. Dorrington does well. A chance here for Olasesi. Off the upright, not quite cleared yet. Can Boniface get ready? Can now. Very close call there, Gilly.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's good football from Tottenham. You know, being patient, but they're trying to get the switch on and coming out the opposite side, and then getting the centre backs to drive out. But yeah, no, good play and unlucky there.
Chelsea can go at the other end now though. Dorrington taking no chances there. And that one's in the car park. Good build-up play, lovely ball in from Mikey Moore here, and he does well, doesn't he, to just try and reverse it a little bit, expect him to maybe try and find the opposite corner.
Yeah, the cut inside there. Yeah, obviously there's more space on the other side of where the goalie's positioned.
Hey, to Golden if he can bring it down. Referee says he's used a hand. Kenny up in 16 minutes or so. Only real chances have fallen Tottenham's way. It is still goalless. Olasesi hitting the woodwork just a moment ago, but Kaya Martin with a chance prior to that one. Lewis Flower with half a sight and nearly got in the first 5 or 6 minutes as Spurs started to try and play out from the back, but other than that, it's been a quiet start for Luca Gunter in the Spurs goal. Checking with the switch. Oh, Hay does well. Here's Moore. Now Linton. It's a good cross as well, well headed out by Brody Hughes. Olasesi. Linton's got him behind, defended well by Wilson. Chelsea struggling to get out at the moment, Gilly.
Yeah, and I think Tottenham have really been punishing Chelsea down this left side with the third man runs. They've got through a couple of times now. The players obviously switching off on the full-back overlapping, but yeah, they've got to be careful they don't get punished for it.
I feel that momentum certainly with Spurs at the moment, travelling towards the box. I don't think he was ever actually looking for a penalty there. He does appeal a little bit towards when he gets up, but I think that would be a very, very harsh decision if anything were given for that. So again, what would you be saying at the moment then if you're in the heart of the defence? Maybe is it just a case of try and get on the ball a little bit, calm things down?
Yeah, and I think defensively I would just get a bit tighter as a unit and stop the ball coming in between the centre-back and the full-back, but going outside the full-back rather than it getting split. Because obviously Tottenham have had a bit of joy down this side as well. That's what I say, just get a bit tighter in the units as well. You can see Tottenham are pulling up in the spaces in between the defence and the midfield and picking it up in there and turning and going forward. So yeah, just a bit more compact out of possession.
Sheary's been followed all the way into his own half by Brody Hughes. Sees the throw in. Never know who's in attendance as well on a Saturday morning. Obviously, men's first team aren't playing this weekend, so that's one or two to impress potentially. And had a little chat before the game started this morning about John Terry's involvement in the academy. And again, if you're a centre half playing at the moment, potentially John Terry looking on, someone you're going to want to impress.
Yeah, no, 100%. Obviously, he's a captain, leader, legend, isn't he, for the club? But yeah, someone of that stature, if you know he's going to be there watching. You want him. You want to impress. You want him to be going back and going, listen, that player A, player B, player C, whoever it is, was brilliant today. You know, we need to keep an eye on him. And I think he's a big advocate of youth as well. Obviously, his journey that he took into the first team, and a big supporter of it. So yeah, he's definitely one that you'd want to impress.
Brody Hughes does well there. Was there a player when you were coming through then that you wanted to impress if you knew that you were training with him, or someone you knew would come and watch? Was there anyone that stood out for you wanted to try and... We'll come back to that actually, because it could be a chance for Spurs. Sorry, continue with that.
Yeah, no, it was more managers, I'd say. I think when you're a young player, you want to impress the sort of captain. You want the captain to be like, wow, like she's actually decent. But I think older players, naturally, when I was a young one at Arsenal, I wanted the older players to sort of not think when I was picked on their team, oh, we've got Gilly, we've got the kid, do you know what I mean? Like, but also a manager as well, yeah, you'd always want your manager to see that you're an hard worker, you're a grafter, and you're sort of like a sponge. You'll listen to them and you take it on board. And yeah, those are the people that I really wanted to impress or play well for.
I'm certain you did, because you're held in very high regard by every teammate I've seen over the last few weeks as well, speaking about your involvement. And Mikey Moore just strikes that wide. That must be nice as well, having that, leaving that legacy with fellow teammates and things, and hearing people speak so positively about you.
Yeah, and I've always said that. I've always said that when I was captain at West Ham, I always said I want, when players play in their career or they end up retiring, they say like, who was the best captain you played under? I always wanted it to be me. But yeah, when you get your fellow professionals say they enjoyed playing with you and that, yeah, it means the world.
Tottenham in possession down this left-hand side with Josiah Linton taking the throw-in into Mikey Moore. Russell Denny just got studs on the ball but couldn't retain possession. Lewis Flowers come close a couple of times to nicking it off the centre half, hasn't he?
Yeah. Make my heart's in my mouth when he gets in that ball. There's being composed and then there's just taking the mick.
Well, I'm certain that Lewis Flower will be hoping that he takes one or two more chances, because there's only a certain number of times he's going to get away with it before.
Yeah, no, definitely. You have to punish, I think, centre-backs like that sometimes.
Looks like he gets a touch on the ball, but Moore beats Chibueze to it. Mikey Moore Here's Olasesi, looking for the cutback, defended well by Caden Wilson, who's just encouraging his midfielders perhaps to stop that run of Mikey Morris. Happened a couple of times the last few minutes that number 11 striding into the centre of the park.
And I think it's the reactions as well, like to the second balls. I think Tottenham there were just they wanted it more. They wanted that second ball more. You can't afford to, especially in games like this. You know what I mean? It's whoever wins their first and second balls will be deciding in the game. You know.
Swinging corner, it's bounced all the way across the box, and East Alexander Russell Denny is the first player to go into the book. Return from George has done ever so well there. Here's Moore again. Try the extravagant, and Caden Wilson's going to be forced to play this nearly. Well defended by Wilson. It's 10 of the 11 that started the last time these two teams met in terms of Spurs' starting lineup this morning. Just having a look across that. It's only really Jamie Donnelly who did start that game in the centre of the park. He's been replaced by Josiah Linton. A little bit of a reshuffle for George Abbott to move midfield, but very consistent with the team selections, whereas obviously Chelsea are, having played on Thursday night, shuffle the pack a little bit more. There's Wilson. Kaya Martin switching play, looking for Jaden Williams, but he's not going to be able to keep that one in.
And it does affect as well a player, like when there's so much rotation or you're playing with players that you might not necessarily play with consistently. It's all about the partnerships, you know, like in and out of possession. So that's sometimes it is difficult compared to a team who potentially have got a bit more consistency in regards to the players that they pick and they play.
And I guess you have favourites, don't you, as a player that you like to play with and stuff like that. So if you are, like, you know, in Spurs camp, for example, where Dorrington and Chaplin have started majority of games really alongside each other when fit and when possible, if you can form those partnerships like you were saying there, you're going to feel more comfortable coming into a game like today.
Yeah, because naturally players get to know each other and they know what each other wants. But I think even in possession, like as a centre-back, I know if I'm playing with a forward that likes the ball, they like to hold the ball up, you know, then the sort of pass you need to make with them, whereas it's a different pass if it's a centre-forward that wants to spin and run in behind. So it's all about those sort of partnerships as well.
Nearly a sighting for Michael Golden and goal a second ago after Chibueze looked to just bend one into his path, but Luca Gunter able to scoop that one up with composure, and Dorrington can step in now. 25 minutes played here at Cobham, still goalless. Jaden Williams squares it to Lancashire. Mikey Moore's going to keep it in play, is he? Olasesi can't get his boot over the ball. It's going to fall eventually. How on earth has that not gone in? What a save that is, I think, from Teddy Kerr. I think he gets a glove on that. Chelsea looking quite dangerously at the moment. Tottenham really knocking on the door. I think that's a brilliant save when we get a chance to look at it, Gilly. It looked like it.
Yeah, and I think obviously for Tottenham, Dorrington at centre-back, he's stepping in. It's too easy for him, you know. He's drove in quite a few times now and created something from it.
Opportunity now for Chelsea to immediately react to that. It's a lovely ball from Russell Denny. Here's Lewis Flower. Tries onto his right foot and lashes it goal bound, but unable to hit the target. Let's have a look at that again then. Really good build-up play from Spurs. Lancashire. Brody Hughes does just about enough. Mikey Moore, I think, keeps it in play. Maybe a hand there, maybe not. Let's fall again to Lancashire. Not sure if he gets a glove on it or not, but good passage of play from Spurs. And Lewis Flower just flashing wide. But it's good. It's a good sight in the fact that we are seeing Lewis Flower on the ball and a half sight and a goal there.
Yeah, most definitely it's just the right choice then. Obviously, maybe a bit of frustration there, snatching at it. Was that really the best option in that position, in the angle he was in?
Could be a chance here for Will Lancashire. A foot race with Caden Wilson, but defender does well. Here's Chibueze. Driving run, looking towards Lewis Flower. He's unlucky with his first touch.
Come on, Reed! Come on, Reed! Come on, Reed!
Now Hay beaten to it by Linton and concedes the foul.
Rio, got to break beyond Will, Rio.
Here's Olasesi dropping deeper to get on the ball a little bit more now is Callum Olasesi. He's more looking to play Lancashire in, but Caden Wilson again equal to it. Still goalless as we approach the half-hour mark here at Cobham.
Go on, Max.
Jazz, keep going, Jazz. Knock it down on the edge.
That's lovely feet. It's a good save in the end from Kerr. It's Wilson. I think it's Jaden Williams with the strike.
Kelly, well played.
Maybe a little bit too easy for him there, though, Gilly.
Yeah, and a little nutmeg there as well. But you can see it. The third man run again with just Chelsea's just too late picking that up. You could see it before it even happened where he was going to run. Just too slow picking him up.
Corner ball to Spurs.
Max, be alive, Max. Anything comes out. On the move, Reed. Good play.
Near post, it's Dorrington.
Win it.
Knight slides in, get near the ball, and now Brody Hughes can escalate Chelsea forward.
Play on. Good crosses. Too deep. Go on, Mr. Upton. Get us up. Up we get. Go on, Jazz.
A lot of composure, a lot of time for Spurs to bring the ball out from the back line. It's not been most exciting game of football so far. Very intensive approach from both teams, but Spurs certainly had the better of proceedings the last 15 or 20 minutes or so. Deep cross towards Lancashire.
Must have had his eyes shut there.
Should do better there, Will Lancashire, shouldn't he? I think goal scorer of his ability. He'd be very disappointed not to have put Tottenham in a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, I think as a striker, he's got to score that. At least get it on the target. He's not even at the target.
Big let-off for Chelsea, currently goalless. Just over the half-hour mark now. It's the first real golden opportunity we've seen for either team, though, Gilly.
Yeah, and again, it's come from the player picking it up in the pocket. With Chelsea not, the gaps between the two units, the centre, the defence and the midfield is too big. He's picked it up in the pocket and turned and drove again. And I think they need to get that a bit tighter, otherwise they're going to get punished from it.
Michael Golding's going to press George Abbott all the way back. Slip from the Tottenham back line as well. Chaplin's allowed the ball to roll out for a throw, and here's Michael Golding. Sorry, George looking for quick feet, but defender can step across. Brody Hughes, though, is going to keep Chelsea in the opposition's half.
Come on, get up, Jay, there. A bit higher, Mike. Come on, get up. Come on, Jay. Come on, lads.
Sorry, George. To get Michael Golding on the ball. We've not heard a huge amount of his name so far today, Michael Golding, but a match winner when he is involved in play. Certainly something that Chelsea will want to try and rectify as we close in on half-time.
Go on, Jaden, you're in. You're in, Jay.
Lovely ball down the channel. Here is Jaden Williams. He's going to keep the ball in play as well. He comes inside. Here's Olasesi. Straight into the gloves of Teddy Kerr. Another opportunity, but a good save from the goalkeeper.
Yeah, again, exposed in the wide area. I don't know whether his players just switching off and players coming off their back shoulder. I just feel like when Tottenham are in possession and they're attacking, they're looking a lot more confident than Chelsea.
Second. Brilliant, Alfie.
Here's Noah Hay. Chance for Chelsea to build up from defensive position now. Still not a huge amount between the teams. That Spurs have had the better of possession and play the last 20 minutes or so. A couple of good opportunities for them, but so far nothing that's troubled Teddy Kerr too much. The best opportunity falling to Will Lancashire on 2 occasions. One he's hit the crossbar with from close range, and the other one he's headed just wide from inside the 6-yard box. He could quite easily be sat here talking about him having 2 goals already this morning, Julie.
Yeah, and he'll probably, especially as a striker, the pressure they put on themselves anyway, he probably will know he should have done better too.
Here's Lewis Flower, though. First real sighting for Chelsea, and the first goal of the morning as well. Clinical finish from Lewis Flower. It's a fantastic tucked away finish into the far corner as well. Lovely way to pass. Chelsea lead.
A great through ball there.
It's the first real time we've seen Tottenham's defensive pairing having to chase back towards their own goal. It's a lovely through ball from Tyreek George, and really nice finish as well from Lewis Flower.
I think his second touch as well, you see it as the ball goes through and he takes his first touch, and then his second touch he takes it away from the defender to his left. Well, I think if he'd have took the touch again in front, it'd have been a good chance for probably the defender to get a slide tackle in or the goalie to come out. But his second touch takes it away. The defender's got no chance of being able to even get a block on for that shot.
Has to be said, it's probably against the run of play, but Chelsea lead thanks to Lewis Flower. Scored twice in the 7-1 win against Norwich a week ago. Continues that goal-scoring form. And at the moment, as it stands, I think Tottenham will probably be scratching their heads as to how they're a goal down. Never mind, not at least on level terms, but probably should feel they should be in front. So it's their turn to react. Trying to get Flower away again. We said football's unpredictable, Gilly, because 5 or 6 minutes ago, if you said that the opening goal was coming, I don't think there's many people, and certainly we're very much in the Chelsea camp, but could be 2 here as Michael Golding's in. Flower again. Chibueze. Oh, could have been 2.
Yeah, I told you that the centre-back as well, driving it out. Obviously, he's turned the ball over there. But yeah, you would have been thinking really that Tottenham would have been 1 or 2-0 up. But that just goes to show as well, if you don't take your chances, it makes it hard naturally on defence, because they made one mistake of letting him get between them, and they're punished for it, you know.
Absolutely right. Yeah, it's been a good performance from Spurs the first 35 minutes of the game. Chelsea probably second best, but are a goal to the good now. Corner from Tyreek George. Oh, Hayes going to have a chance maybe to reload this for the Blues. Ten minutes into the half. Chelsea lead by a goal to 0. Thanks to Lewis Flower. Scored a few moments ago. First real opportunity for Chelsea to test Luka Gunter, and he's got it picking it out of his net. Could be a chance here for Lewis Flower to double Chelsea's advantage. He squares it to Chibueze. Lovely touch. Well defended in the end though, Gilly.
Yeah, and I think a few of his teammates are, well, they've got their hands on their head as well. Why is he not passed it? But I think that's what I mean. Football is a game of momentum as well. Like, Tottenham had the momentum and they didn't take advantage of it, and now it's swung around to Chelsea. And you think that's 2 chances now within the space of a few minutes where they could have been, it takes both of them, you're 3-0 up.
We could very much be sat here talking about a 3-2 game so far, couldn't we?
Incredible.
It's really livened up the last few as Chelsea have certainly come alive. Opportunity for Chelsea to double their advantage though. Swinging corner. Missed everyone except the far post. It's Caden Wilson, I think, that's wrapped the upright. He's Did it well though. Here's Boniface. Tyreek George. Lovely step over. Hangs it up towards Flower. Dorrington deals with it. It'll be another Chelsea corner. Like you said, Gilly, momentum has really turned now.
Yeah, and I think a little switch off at the back post there from Tottenham. Probably anticipated that it was going to go out of play. But yeah, again, it's crazy how football works, and how it can just change hands like that.
Similar sort of setting last night in the PL2 game. Chelsea were 2-0 down, knocking on the door, get a goal back immediately pretty much, and then were really piling on the pressure before a goal against the run of play for West Ham kind of set the tone for the game ahead. Here's Brody Hughes. Caught in possession though, and now could be a counter-attack, and it's a really ambitious effort. But it's just bounced wide. It's an unbelievable effort, in fairness. Seemed to hang in the air forever there, Gilly, for a second.
No, I couldn't really work out from the goalie whether he could see if it was going in or not.
It's an outrageous effort, and very nearly had his team on level terms. I suppose it's one of those you've got to give that a try, haven't you?
Yeah, you got. I mean, he done well. Looked up there to see the goalie was off his line. But yeah, there was no emotion from the goalie or nothing. I didn't know if it was going in or.
I think if you ask him, he'll probably say it was composure, but I think there was probably a second where he looked back where he's gone, oh, oh no. Teddy Kerr, ever composed, of course he is. Clock ticking towards that 40th minute mark, and perhaps there'll be one last real opportunity before managers can get their messages across to the players at half-time. Chelsea lead by a goal to 0. Here's McKnight. It's a deep cross towards Lancashire. It's going to go all the way through to Mikey Moore. Dealt with well by captain for this morning, Raksaki. Here's Lewis Flower. He's all on his own. Got some support arriving. Might not need him. He shove off the ball there, but Chelsea keep the ball. Here's Chibueze. Goldin. So he keeps possession, and Brody Hughes can switch play to Boniface. Has anyone stood out for you in the first half then, Gilly, as the lead performer so far?
I think it's pretty evenly matched, to be fair. I mean, I've been impressed with Tottenham centre-backs. I think obviously they've been confident, they've been composed on the ball, they've been obviously patient in driving out with it. But yeah, I think it's pretty evenly matched.
It has been very evenly matched in terms of too many chances, and then there was a flurry of them, weren't there, for a little while, and Spurs could have been 2 to the good. Chelsea could have then been 3-2 up. We are still only talking about a 1-0 game at the moment. Still very much in the balance as Jaden Williams picks the ball up on the far side. McKnight with the overlap. It's Olasesi. Moore's going to keep it in play. A good opportunity for Spurs though. Danger not over. Kaya Martin. Mikey Moore. There's the equaliser. And it's probably as much as they deserve.
Yeah, and I think you look again, the Chelsea defence just switch off. Like if you're looking at it, he picks it up again. He comes off of the shoulders of the defence and picks it up in the pocket. It's just the second phase. Chelsea is just too slow. You're looking here, no one's watched him, and he picks it up in the pocket. A great finish as well in the bottom corner.
Yeah, really nice finish. Just guides it into that far corner, doesn't he? Almost whips it around. Caden Wilson uses him as almost a masking point for the goalkeeper, so he can't see the ball. Mikey Moore has Spurs level.
There just needs to be a bit more communication there from the Chelsea defence, who's picking him up. They can't leave a player who's shown great quality as well to be able to get the ball in that area.
Yeah, the warning signs have been there, haven't they? He's had 2 or 3 half sightings at goal from distance more. He's looked a lively figure off this left-hand side.
Jump with him, George.
Now we are back on level terms. Lewis Flower, Chelsea in front. Just after the 34th minute, and then an equaliser from Mikey Moore as we close in on half-time. Chelsea 1, Tottenham 1.
Look on, Bree.
There's Brody Hughes.
On the last line. Contact. Come on, Georgie.
George dropping deeper.
Come on, Georgie.
Saki under
Get up.
pressure, but
On,
finds a way out.
Come on. Go on, Will. Go on, Will. Stay inside, mate. Stay inside. Don't drop, mate. There you go. Come on. Lock him in here. Lock him in.
Chibueze
Come on, Cal.
drives inside.
Well, that's fine. Shoulders free. Stop, John. Stop.
It's Raksaki looking for Noah Hay. Michael Golden on the overlap. Golden squares it. It's going to come to Tyreek George.
Leaning back there though, isn't he? So I'm talking like I'm a professional striker here. But for me, you do. You think he got it, leans back, it's only going to go really one place. That's going to be over.
Good opportunity for Tyreek George as well. Spurs going straight down the other end though. Caden Wilson's done well to step across there. End-to-end football to finish the first half here at Cobham. Certainly not over. Here's Lancashire. And it's a great finish from Kaya Martin. Tottenham Hotspur lead. Chelsea, architects of their own downfall there, unfortunately. Gilly couldn't clear the ball.
Yeah, and it's the third man run. Obviously, Will Lancashire does well here, well, really well to spot it as well. But yeah, just playing it out. It's sloppy, it's messy, and no one picks him up, runs off the back shoulder.
It's a lovely flick, isn't it? You mentioned there from Lancashire, lovely little back heel into the path of Kaya Martin, who's been lively in his first half, and he's not going to miss that, is he?
Yeah, it's fantastic for him to spot that run as well. You know, obviously it must have been great communication, but to be able to do that as a striker as well, probably wants to take it on himself and have a shot himself. But again, Chelsea just switching off to the third man runs.
So it's a complete turnaround for Tottenham Hotspur, who on the brink of half-time, taking a 2-1 advantage to Rio Kaya Martin. Chelsea have got seconds probably to find a reaction, but goes all the way back to Teddy Kerr.
Stay inside, Cal. Go on. Go on, Max.
All the way here though. Spurs are going to test before the whistle goes again. Caden Wilson with a towering header.
Who you got, Noah? Crosses.
Here's Williams. Cuts it back. Olasesi. Lancashire.
Look it down.
Up rather than out, really. Only as far as Linton. Still piling on the pressure, looking for a third before the half-time break.
George, might be you, George.
Is that composure again?
I'm just sitting here in silence observing it. I can't breathe.
The half-time whistle has gone here at Cobham. Lewis Flower did give Chelsea the lead after, in fairness, against the run of play, Tottenham Hotspur have been mightily impressive in the opening 35 minutes before Lewis Flower gave Chelsea the advantage. It was then a bit of a flurry of Blues chances, but unfortunately, Tottenham Hotspur found a way back into it with Mikey Moore. And then on the stroke of half-time, lovely little flick from Will Lancashire into the path of Rio Kaya Martin. And Tottenham Hotspur do lead by 2-1. It's been a good game of football the last 20 minutes or so, Gilly, after quite a pensive and cautious opening.
Yeah, and I do think, you know, if Chelsea are probably honest, it probably is the right scoreline going in. I think Tottenham have had, obviously, quite a few more chances than Chelsea. I just feel like Tottenham have just looked a bit more promising and look like they've got a bit more conviction when they're going forward. Even then, finishing the half, they've still got chances, probably snatching at them and the quality side of it. But yeah, I just feel like Chelsea have been a bit more, they've been reactive rather than proactive with things. You know, they've been waiting for passes to happen and then reacting to it, or the player picking the ball up in the space, letting him dribble, letting him drive, oh, and then I'll now go out and try and block it, and it's too late. So Yeah, but I think if they're honest, it's probably the right scoreline, and I think Tottenham probably would have felt a bit hard done by going in, especially if it stayed 1-0 down. So yeah, exciting second half to come, hopefully.
Absolutely. Thankfully, Chelsea are still very much in this conversation. It's been an enticing first half. Ola Sessi with the first real opportunity and hitting the upright after a good driving run there, but it was very much Tottenham in the opening 20-25 minutes of play, really, Julie.
Yeah, I think Tottenham had the momentum, and I don't think they really took advantage of it. And then obviously then probably against the run of play, Chelsea get the goal, and then probably dominate for the patch afterwards, and then obviously then Tottenham pick it back up again to end the half, probably dominating it.
Absolutely. Mikey Moore we've seen here driving from distance, and like we mentioned in commentary, and an early warning sign really to what he's capable of, a driving run from deep. And again, this is the first real sighting of goal for Will Lancashire, a kind of half chance really, but in the end he gets another sniff at it and rattles the crossbar. Yeah,
and I think he's dominating the left side, obviously Chelsea's right side. I think they're switching off too much down that right flank, and obviously looking at here, they're nearly punished again for it. So yeah, I think that's something that I would be looking at, is just to tweak that, because they're getting punished obviously with him out there.
Spurs continue to knock on the door here. Lovely little interplay though, and it's actually a good save in the end from Ted Kerr. But again, the warning signs were very much there in the first half an hour or so for Chelsea, struggling to get out a little bit. Not too many sightings at goal for Luka Gunter at the other end, but then all of a sudden it felt like the game was completely different because Chelsea take the lead. Yeah,
and I think you're looking at it, I mean, it's a great through ball, but being sometimes direct, you know, that might have been the first time really that Chelsea have actually got it, and rather than going side to side and taking several touches, they've got it, picked up midfield, gone straight forward, and he's in between the two centre-backs. Like, sometimes being direct is not a negative thing, you know?
Completely right, yeah. It paid dividends there, and very quickly after that, all of a sudden, Chelsea were on the ascendancy. Could have had a second here if first Lewis Flowers' shot is blocked, and then Chibueze with a shot as well. Again, last-ditch sliding tackle from Tottenham Hotspur. It's done well to get in here. Again, it's well defended in the end, actually, isn't it, from a defender's perspective, putting your body on the line to make sure that it doesn't nestle in the far corner.
Yeah, no, definitely. Looking at there, you've got 3 players all sliding to block that ball.
Lewis Flowers starting to build into the game as well. And again, another opportunity for Chibueze here. Again, well defended.
I think he's just gone back into the numbers, though. You see him, he was up on his left, and he looks like he's going to go that way, and he comes back to the right, but there's like 3-4 Tottenham players already there waiting to block it. If he goes once more to the left, you know, you've got 2 Chelsea players standing there free.
And then it was the reaction that we feared, but probably Tottenham deserved on the balance of things here. Mikey Moore again heavily involved. Gets the ball here, rolls it into Kaya Martin, and those two have been ever present in Tottenham's attacks, and Mikey Moore had Tottenham on level terms.
Yeah, again picking it up in between. I mean, no one's marking him, but obviously in that pocket in between the defence and the midfield, just communication. You know, someone's got to go with him, especially if you know he's a type player that can get the ball and turn and punish you like that.
And again, Mikey Moore there almost in on goal, but will eventually see his side take the lead here as Lancashire with a lovely little flick back and Kaya Martin with the finish.
And I think as a defender, like if you're reading the momentum, like here, just put the ball long. Like, do you know what I mean? You've got a couple of minutes till half time. Yeah, it's not pretty, but you've got to read it. If Tottenham are pressing in their right, just put your foot through it. Relieve some pressure for your team. But again, switching off for the third man run off the back shoulder. But great finish as well.
Even as biased as we are, I think it's probably on the balance of things a scoreline that reflects the first half as Tottenham Hotspur lead by 2-1. Still plenty of action to come here from Cobham. We'll bring you the second half very, very soon, of course. But first, let's switch our attention to last night in the PL2 when Chelsea took on West Ham United. Josh Brookin and Lucas Bergstrom exchanging passes. Patient approach in this first 10 or 12 minutes from Chelsea. West Ham's high press has caught Chelsea in possession. George Earthy has found the bottom corner. And it's West Ham United who break the deadlock. Chelsea architects of their own downfall in the opening 12 minutes as George Earthy nestles that in the bottom corner. Corner to be taken, swung in. It's a near post flick from Sawyer. And it's found its way in. Bergstrom can't do anything from it. Divin Mbama on the line at the second attempt to tuck it home. Swept across from Caelan Casey. No one able to defend the front post flick on. Just cushioned into the path of Mbama. Sturge. To Hutchinson. Lovely flick round the corner. Here's Malik Mothersill. Something building for Chelsea. Back to Charlie Webster. What a strike. Chelsea back in it. It's a brilliant finish from Charlie Webster. Doesn't score tap-ins, does he? Lovely play from Malik Mothersill. Cuts across it beautifully. It's a fantastic finish from Charlie Webster. There's Abu. To Burstow. It's a lovely ball into Hutchinson. Chelsea really ticking now. Amari Hutchinson. Could tip over the top of the crossbar from Heggie. On clearance. It's a spin from Mbama. Webster's shown him wide though. Have to wait for reinforcements. Oh no, he doesn't. What a finish that is. Looked like the chance had gone. Divin Mbama on the stroke of half-time has restored West Ham United's 2-goal advantage. Spins past Brooking. For all in the world that the chance had gone though. Seemed like he had to wait for Claret and Blue reinforcements, but he didn't need to. Stings it in off the upright. Brilliant finish. Chelsea with a lot of work to do in the second half. Hutchinson's corner. Burstow. Oh, what a save! How has that not gone in? That is a sensational save from Heggie. Sturge. Lovely ball. Here's Hutchinson. He's got Vale as an option. Harvey Vale, lovely square ball. Mason Burstow has his goal that his performance deserves. Harvey Vale, an immediate impact off the substitutes bench. Brilliant link up between him and Amari Hutchinson. Chelsea certainly back in this. It's a lovely slide ball across and Mason Burstow there to tap it home. Casey to Earthy, wriggles away from Vale. Uses Robinson. Chance could fall here. It's a real chance for West Ham United. Sawyer can't keep it down at the far post. Could very well have been 4. Be a chance here for Chester's. Finds Sawyer. Looks for the far corner. Can't find it on this occasion. Always a coming together there between Abu and Sawyer. Derek Abu already on a booking. That's his second one of the evening. 10 minutes to play. Chelsea down to 10 as Derek Abu is sent off. The referee can find his card. Unfortunately, he does. Chelsea are down to 10. Castillo. Vale. Always looks like something might happen when Harvey Vale's on the ball. Good link up with Burstow. Lovely slide pass. And how on earth has that not gone in? Brilliant play between Burstow and Vale. It's just a coming together almost between Hutchinson and Rankin. Neither can make enough of a contact to get the ball over the line. Vale's up again. Webster. Another brilliant save from Heggie. He's been fantastic tonight. He'll be the difference. Great game last night. Yeah, West Ham, unfortunately, the victors in that one by 3 goals to 2. I mean, they're very much the victors in the under-18s at the moment. They are leading the way in the under-18s Premier League. As it stands, Tottenham will leapfrog Chelsea into second position, pushing Chelsea down to fourth as Crystal Palace don't play until tomorrow. So it's important, I suppose, second half, Gilly, to get that reaction in, but also know that, as we've seen in the first half, you might have to be patient for a little while, but your chances will come.
Yeah, no, definitely. Obviously, they've got 45 minutes to turn it around. And obviously, the good thing is that they're creating chances. You know, if they was going in at half-time and they hadn't created nothing, then, yeah, maybe they might be a little bit worried. But they are creating. So it's just being patient. It's knowing what's the right option and what's the best option. Am I the best person to take this shot on, or is my teammate in a better place, you know? And if some of them had done that in the couple of the chances, we could have been looking at a different scoreline now. Absolutely right.
Obviously, tomorrow afternoon, there's a big one. You need to make sure you join us for on the 5th stand-up. We've got Chelsea versus Liverpool in the FA Cup, and I'm very lucky to say that I'm going to be sat beside you for that one, Gilly, because there's no one in the world that's going to know more about tomorrow afternoon, considering you're in one of the dressing rooms a month ago.
Yeah.
And I'm sure after speaking to you for a little bit this morning, you're probably still in a couple of group chats for the other one, aren't you?
Yeah, I was only kicked out of one group chat last weekend, to be fair, so probably could have told you to start in 11 last weekend. But yeah, no, it's obviously 2 of my former clubs, and obviously one I've only left a few weeks ago. So yeah, it would be obviously my knowledge in that and my experience of being in both dressing rooms. Yeah, hopefully it'll be a good insight to tomorrow.
Well, it'll definitely be warmer, and hopefully we get more than 6 minutes of play that we got last weekend.
Yeah,
at
no,
Kingsmeadow.
fingers crossed.
Yeah, make sure you join us for that. We'll kick off at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, so join us from 5 to 1 on the 5th stand-up and your usual places as well. Yeah, it should be a good one. It doesn't look like there's any changes at half-time for this one. Is that something you expected? Do you think it will be a case of see how the next 15-20 minutes play out?
Yeah, I think to be fair, most managers do that. I think unless something drastically is going wrong, then they'll make the change. Or if they feel like they need a change of formation, then they might bring someone else in. But most of the time, they'll see how probably the first 5 or 10 minutes go. You know, if they're still seeing the issues that they might have flagged or might have raised in the first half still occurring, then yeah, it might be a change of player needed or a change of formation or whatever. But yeah, I could see them doing at least, yeah, maybe 10-15 minutes before a change is made, if any's made.
With your manager head on then, what would be the last instructions before the players come out for the second half?
I think I just said get a bit tighter, get a bit more compact and be a bit more switched on, you know, don't be sloppy, don't be letting these third man run happen, or, do you know what I mean, just talk to your teammates more. As long as someone's picking him up, or you know who's picking him up, whether it be a centre-back go tighter or a midfielder screen maybe more. But yeah, I'd say just be a bit more switched on and a bit more compact in regards to the units.
It'll be Tottenham to get us underway. They lead by 2-1. It was Mikey Moore and Rio Kaya Martin after Lewis Flower had given Chelsea a 1-0 lead. It's a player that's had a big impact in the first half. Just a little close-up there of Will Lancashire. Tottenham do get us underway. Lancashire's 5th goal in 5 PL18 games, and immediately involved again. Caden Wilson does well to deal with pressure on the left-hand side. Here's Boniface. George Adam out to Wilson. Boniface fouls Williams in the end. It's a free kick to Tottenham in an early test for Chelsea's defensive structure. He's another player that's looked lively in the first half as Jaden Williams. 5 goals already in 18s Premier League this year. Moore and Olasesi stood over it. Teasing cross from Moore, it's a free header. Good chance there, Gilly.
Yeah, he just gets in between the Chelsea defenders there. Might have thought he probably could have done a bit better with it, and he's getting it on the target, but I think the defender does enough there to just sort of get across him, stop him from seeing it.
Tottenham's high press has won the ball back, and here's Jaden Williams. Moore squares it. Well defended. Again, caught in possession quite early on in this second half, and eerily similar to how the first half ended.
Yeah, I think Tottenham have started the second half how they ended it the first half, you know, on the front foot and creating.
Corner to be taken by Mikey Moore, goal scorer of Tottenham's first. In swinger, and the header comes off Hay, I think. Go for another corner. Heart in mouth moment for a second there.
That's one of them ones when you're a defender and you just think, I've just got to hope that bounces past the goal. You know, you ain't got a clue where it's going. You just know you've got something on it.
And if it bounces wide, it's a brilliant defensive header.
Yeah, if it goes in, it's probably a brilliant own goal, to be fair, as well. Great finish.
Or trots all the way over to the far side to take the second corner in succession for Spurs. Outswinger this time. It's going to fall to the edge, and it's McKnight with a sighting of goal. Chelsea not wasting any time in getting on with things, though, as Michael Golding, lovely touch inside. Switch of play as well. Here's Chinozo Chibueze.
Middle of pitch, Arch!
Wins the corner from one end to another.
I wonder if he really needed to take that second touch then before he obviously went to put the cross in. Seemed like he got the beating of the defender, took the extra touch, which gave the defender enough time to try and get that block on.
He's definitely got a huge amount of potential as Chibueze, and there's an opportunity for him to have played a part in Chelsea's equaliser, hopefully. Corner to be taken by Russell Denny. Swept clear by Lancashire, only as far as Boniface, though. Scrappy, eventually Spurs can get it clear and maybe counter the other end. It's Kaya Martin, the second Spurs goal scorer this morning. Pleased to say we are in the afternoon now, so...
Yes, you can say afternoon now as much as you want.
I'll say this morning now for the rest of the game, no doubt. Boniface caught in possession, but between Kerr and Hughes, they can deal with that. In 4 or 5 minutes of this second half. Spurs continued where they've left off in the first half. Here's Dorrington, who's had a huge role today. Could be a chance here. It's another half chance, really, for Lancashire. On another day, he's probably taken home the match ball by now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's probably feeling a bit frustrated with it. He's only got the one. Again, it's just not that. I just feel like with the defending, it's not that conviction to put your body on the line to block that shot. It's sort of a bit half-hearted.
Everybody expected the flag to go up there for a second. I suppose that's the sign of a good centre forward that you'll learn at this level, though, isn't it? Like Lewis Flowery's been quite frustrated, hasn't had the ball much, but has taken his chance really well. And Lancashire on the other end, again, you can clearly see a player of a huge amount of ability and quality, but unfortunately just hasn't had the rub of the green so far to find the back of the net.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think with a good centre forward, they know themselves, they stay confident. They only need one chance to put it away. You know, he had one chance the first half and he puts it away. And that's what you want. I think sometimes when you're losing a game, when you know you've got faith in your attacking ability and you've got players in there that, you know, listen, we only need one or two chances and we're going to get goals, it makes it a lot easier when you're losing because you've still got that faith and belief. It's difficult when you don't have that and you say 2-0 down and you think, how are we going to get back into this game? We've got to try and score 3, do you know what I mean?
Has been a Chelsea change. We've just seen actually it's Harrison Murray Campbell who's coming at the heart of centre half. Just a flick on there from Murray Campbell who's come on for Brody Hughes half time. Again, a player that's usually an ever present in the under-18s Premier League. Harrison Murray Campbell. We did play on Thursday evening though, so I assume that's probably why between him and Brody Hughes have had a half each, because Brody Hughes also played in that 1-0 defeat to Cambridge United. From McKnight, here's Lancashire. Chibueze trying to get rid, but run into trouble, and here's Mikey Moore. Chibueze does well to win the foul there. Still a few options on the bench for Chelsea should they need them, including Harrison McMahon and Frankie Runham in more attacking options. Atto Amper on there as well. Still plenty of time though for Chelsea to get back in this game. 40 minutes still to play. Spurs lead by 2-1 here at Cobham. It's the same scoreline the other way finished at Tottenham Hotspur's training ground at the end of 2022. Michael Goldin was heavily involved in that game. Not heard a huge amount from him today, but still plenty of time to get him in. He's such a talented player, he is, Gilly. Michael Goldin. He's capped at under 17 level for England. He captains a side quite a lot. He's one of those players that is so good on his day, so clever, and you've seen that in little fits and starts today, little touches here and there. But I suppose in games like today where they are quite tactical, sometimes hard to get a number 10 involved.
Yeah, especially if you see the opposing team do their job right, and they've probably highlighted him as well as being such a key influential player. They don't want to give him the time or space to get the ball, you know, and it is frustrating. But also, again, sometimes players do have the off games, or they find it hard or struggle just to get into a game. But I think there you saw in the start of the second half, when he gets the touch, he does a great touch and he switches the ball. They know what he can do, and they know that he can punish him.
Absolutely right, like you said, there's been a very evident George Abbott shadow every time you've seen Michael Goldin, the number 10 for Chelsea, the number 6 for Spurs, never more than a few metres away. And I think that's probably credit to George Abbott that you've not heard a huge amount from Michael Goldin today.
Yeah, and also credit to Goldin as well, that if you're potentially probably being man-marked, it shows just how influential you are to a team. And it's also a different game for him now. He's got to try and shirk him off, and it might be that little 2 or 3 yards he gets away from him, he then has to make sure that makes the difference, you know.
Completely right, and still plenty of time to make his presence felt in this one. Just short of 55 minutes played here at Cobham.
Alf, get closer.
There is Linton. Shuffled all the way back to Dorrington.
Don't get too high. Now we've dropped it. Now we've dropped it. Now we've dropped it. Be aware,
It's Kyle Martin. Uses Williams. It's inside Jaden Williams. Lovely step over. Defended well in the end by Chelsea. Again, you can see both wingers in Mikey Moore and Jaden Williams looking to affect the game by driving in field. As a centre-half, are you asking your full-backs to do a little bit more there?
Yeah, it's hard, I think, because obviously full-backs probably get a bit nervous about coming too far across. But again, it's the communication. If you know then they're coming in, the centre-back has to go, listen, I'll take, and then the full-back can stay wide. Especially with Tottenham, how they're using the flanks as well. You don't want your full-back coming in, over-covering too much, and then they slip it out, and the centre-back can't get out to cover him, you know. So, yeah, as a centre-back, you're talking loud enough and early enough to know that you can take that player on.
Change here, Frankie Runham coming on for Chelsea. We'll just confirm that he's come on forward, but he's, again, certainly a match winner is Frankie Runham, a player with a huge amount of ability. Still so young as well. Could be a chance here for Spurs to make something happen down the right-hand side, though, with Olasesi. Murray Campbell does well to win the goal kick. Noah Hayes, the player that's been replaced. So we may see either change of system or Frankie Runham playing at right back. He's a player that's played at right wing back. I've seen him play right midfield, right wing. Plays a little bit more advanced for England as well, but certainly down that right hand side you'll see him. Whereas that versatility again is important as a younger player coming through to show that you can play a number of different positions and understand the game.
Yeah, no, definitely. When I started out, I was left back, centre back, centre mid. You know, I'd play anywhere, to be fair, just to get on. But yeah, it is. If you've got that versatility, and I think even the understanding of the game, like the more you plan a position, when you then change, you know sort of what that position expects and wants. You know, when I played fullback, when I went at centre back, I knew then the passes that the fullback would want because I played there myself. I knew what I wanted. So yeah, versatility. You're trying to get into the team. The more positions you can offer. But yeah, no, it definitely helps for a player, especially a younger player.
Did it make you more forgiving as a centre half for your fullbacks?
No. No, definitely not.
Lovely feet from Raksaki is Michael Goldin. And Again, we mentioned George Abbott right on his toes to concede the throw-in. And back to Caden Wilson. Intercepted by Williams and threads in Lancashire. Tussle with Caden Wilson, and one or two questions asked towards the referee. Thoughts there, Gilly?
Yeah, I think Tottenham they're wanting a pen there, aren't they? But I just think that's soft. I think it's shoulder to shoulder. You know, they're both giving it. And I think sometimes what referees don't see is centre forwards who pull defender's shirt. You know, you look at it now. Look, he's got hold of the defender's shirt. Like, naturally, you're going to fall down as well. But I think it would have been very soft if that was given as a pen, definitely.
That's well spotted there. And again, that's the insight that you only get as a defender, because first look you think, oof, well, that's not a question. But then you look back and there's quite clearly a handful of Wilson's shirt that's in Lancashire's palm, so...
It's only because that's happened to me so many times and referees don't spot it. That's why I used to have to wear my shirt tucked in, so then I knew when it got pulled out. I weren't lying.
You should have painted it
I know.
the same colour, so then it's on their hand.
Yeah.
Mikey Moore with the corner. I'm sure there's a kit manufacturer out there somewhere that's coming up with an idea like that.
I know, I might have to come out of retirement now just to do that.
Spurs continuing to impress in possession, and here's Dorrington. That said, it's worked against them, thankfully, because here's Samuel Raksaki, man with the armband on for Chelsea today. Boniface does really well. It's a good cross as well. Can he get the shot off? Russell Denny. It's a good save from Gunter. Move not yet over for Chelsea as Boniface continues. For Golding. It's got George for an option. It's a lovely attempt of a turn there from Golding.
That's good play from Chelsea though, not positive on their front foot.
Did well to delay the shot as well, didn't he, really? Because I suppose it looked like the chance had almost gone and to hit it through bodies, but you do then run the risk, I suppose, of the goalkeeper being unsighted.
Yeah, I didn't know if he'd maybe took a touch too many. But yeah, to get a shot off in side bodies like that, just unfortunate no one was there to follow up.
Max Knight looking for the switch of play towards Moore. Thankfully, it bounces all the way through to Kerr. It's a half-time substitute, Murray Campbell. Still half an hour to play here at Cobham. Scores the same as they were at half-time in Tottenham, 2-1 in the advantage at the moment. Here's Olasesi. Mikey Moore. Elsewhere in the U18 Premier League at the moment, Manchester City 2-0 to the good against Blackburn Rovers. West Brom and Brighton all square. Crystal Palace are 1 up against Aston Villa, so it'll prevent Spurs from going second for the time being. They will still have a game in hand though. And Arsenal 2-1 down to Fulham. Still, again, half an hour to play in all of those. And Stoke City also 2-0 up against Nottingham Forest in the northern part of the draw. There's a chance then. Hangs the ball towards the far post. It's up from Chaplin. Lewis Flowers busy and about. Russell Denny. It's George. Lovely turn. Golding. Back to Russell Denny. Patient approach from Chelsea with Frankie running the substitute. Here's Chibueze. Wins the corner.
I think Chelsea had done much better than picking the second balls up as well. I think in the first half, when they attacked, when the ball come back out, it was Tottenham that was there first, where now it's Chelsea there first, and then they're able to keep bodies in Tottenham's box, and they're able to build up play again. I think they've done that much better this half.
Again, this is a team, a Chelsea team that's used to having things their own way, especially in recent weeks. Last two PL2 outings have scored 10 and conceded 2, so this is a little bit of a different position to be in. Need to get a little bit of luck there, though. Cannons off the back of Chibueze's head there and nearly loops in.
I think poor from Tottenham there. You got 2 Chelsea players out in the corner. They didn't even see it. They didn't set up quick enough. Just let them get the ball in.
It's a bit of a hasty look towards the referee there from Alfie Dorrington. So
bit
I
of a nervous
yeah,
one.
It was, wasn't it? So I wonder how close that really was. Obviously, no goal line technology in use today. I had a similar instance last night, actually, in the PL2, where it looked for all the world that Dion Rankin or Amari Hutchinson was going to tuck it in at the far post, but had another close call there. Unfortunately, hasn't gone Chelsea's way again. But referee's just going to stop it for, looks like the first Tottenham change of the afternoon. Chelsea also going to make a change. It's going to be Tariq George. It's going to be replaced by Atto Ampa. So it does seem like it's still quite a functional back four for Chelsea, with Frankie Runham playing at right back. We will give you a little bit more going forward. I imagine as fresh legs for the second half. Still not quite time to panic yet, though, Gilly.
No, still plenty of time. Still plenty of time to get it. And I think if you looked at the first half, how many goals come in the period and how many chances were created in the period, you know, they ain't got to panic anytime soon.
Nearly a lovely little interchange there from Michael Golden and Lewis Flower. It's those moments that you just hope throughout the 90 minutes, 1 or 2 pay off, and that link-up play is so important to Chelsea's rise up the Under-18s Premier League. At the moment, still very much in Spurs' favour. 2-1 to the good here at Cobham, thanks to Mikey Moore and Kaya Martin's first half goals. After Lewis Flower gave Chelsea a lead against the runner play, it has to be said. McKnight. Runham can step in though. He's fouled, but play will go on. Chibueze. Russell Denny with the overlap. Well defended again though by Tottenham, and now counter could be up the other way as Mikey Moore is driving towards the Chelsea defence. Here's Linton. I think it's going to be end-to-end for the next 25 minutes, Gilly. I think we're the winners here.
Yeah, no, definitely. We'd rather that, to be fair.
Atto Ampa, fresh legs off the substitutes bench. Cuts inside. Ampa. Nice idea. Does well to give himself enough yard to strike it, and you can see what he's trying to do, can't you? He's trying to whip it into that far corner.
Yeah, I just don't know whether that was probably the right option. I mean, it would have been the right option if it went in, but I think obviously in that he was still a distance away from goal. Maybe a teammate was in a better position, but it's obviously the eagerness as well, just coming off the bench. You've got that energy. You want to make a difference, you know. You want to make a change.
Half an hour to go, just under. Need to be some sort of change for Chelsea if proceedings at the moment. Tottenham going to take all 3 points and level those bragging rights we spoke about before the game.
Come on, Matt.
It's certainly a game that seems to encourage that sort of passion between players and fans. I mean, I remember seeing a game not so long ago in the PL2 between Chelsea and Tottenham's development sides, in which Petr Cech played in goal and Danny Drinkwater was sent off for Chelsea on that evening. So certainly a game that they always take seriously, no matter what the setting or the league position.
I would have liked a couple of more meaty tackles, though, to be honest with you, in this game. There's not really been many. We've still got a few minutes, though, to change that. But yeah, I would have liked to have seen a few of them.
Still the professional that's creeping out there. Obviously, Chelsea and Spurs came head-to-head in midweek as well in the Conti Cup. So it's all going Chelsea's way so far, except this morning. Still time, though. Double change for Spurs. It'll be Tyrese Hall and Oliver Iro coming on for Will Lancashire.
Come on, let's hear you. Let's go, G. Get yourself in the game.
Closer, roll. Tight.
Here's Runham. Golding. Here's Boniface now. Atto Ampa. Knight does well. Has to play the nutmeg as well.
Come on, lads, up! Come on now! Come on, George, keep going, George!
Callum Olasesi was the other change for Spurs. Tyrese Hall and Oliver Iro coming on for Olasesi and Lancashire. There's a chance, though, for Jaden Williams. Good save from Ted Kerr. Another opportunity, though, Gilly, falling Spurs' way.
Yeah, and I think they tried to play offside then as well, but one of the defenders was just being a bit lax coming out of defence. But yeah, I mean, probably the wrong decision to take the shot there. Player on the 6-yard line crying out for it, but yeah, great save as well.
Just over 20 minutes remain here at Cobham. Tottenham probably on the balance of things will feel they are deservedly in front. Outswinger from Mikey Moore, one of the goal scorers. Boniface does well to just shepherd the ball out of play for a Chelsea goal kick. It's going to be another Chelsea change here, I think. Harrison McMahon's going to come on to replace Santo Boniface. Again, a little bit of a reshuffle here by the looks of things. Correction, no, actually it was Reece Russell-Denny who's been replaced by Harrison McMahon. He's already on a booking, so imagine that's probably coming to the manager's thinking. Like you said, if there is going to be a tastier end to this game, then maybe a central midfielder on a booking's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think as well, especially if you're trying to push for the win, you can't afford to go down to 10 players. So yeah, smart decision there.
Flower looking to spin behind. Here's Golding. Need close control. Wins the throw-in off Iro. Boniface going to take the throw-in. Just got Lamper and Golding and Saki as options. Uses his captain.
Go on, Jake. Second ball. Go on, Mike. Go on, Jazz. Get him up.
There's Mikey Moore. to try and slip in Jaden Williams, but unable to on that occasion. Here's Murray Campbell. Atawampa wins the foul. Free kick looking towards Lewis Flower. Max McKnight can only clear that one out for a throw-in, which Boniface will step forward to take. Confirmation of that booking for Maxwell McKnight. 20 or so minutes to play with the couple of additional minutes that usually precede. So what will be the message for the Chelsea players at this point then, Julie?
I still think just keep going with it, you know, keep being positive when they've got the ball. Obviously the subs have got to come on, you've got to bring energy, you know, you've got to drive the team. I think what Tottenham are doing is when Chelsea are playing, they're high pressing, and I think Chelsea should do it. They've got to push for it now, you know, you can't sit there and be patient. I think get up. Tottenham are going to want to try and play their defenders. Set the trap, let it go to them, and then go and go together. Because I think when Chelsea have done that, they've been successful with it.
Rio, get this side of him, that's it. Get up, let's go. Jules, box out. Up we get.
Here's Chaplin.
Go tight, mate. Go tight. Go on, mate. Yes, Lee, go, Lee.
Forward. Jaden, shoot off him, why not?
Go, team. Let's go.
Forward, arch.
Launched forward, but Murray Campbell's equal to it. Little flick on from Marlon. First real involvement since coming off the bench. Here's another substitute who's come on. Atawampa. It's stuck under his feet a little bit, but he's managed to keep hold of it. Likewise, a Spurs substitute in Oliver Iro can get involved there. Here's Chibueze. Still very patient in terms of the Chelsea perspective, not rushing things at the moment, and I guess from a managerial perspective that's what you'd want to see. You don't want to see people sort of taking risks just yet. Just keep doing, as you just said a moment ago, kind of keep doing what you're doing, but maybe up it a little bit.
Yeah, there's no need to panic, because obviously when you panic as well, you leave yourself open for mistakes and for obviously the counter-attack, etc. But yeah, just a bit more urgency when you're on the ball, you know, the tempo of the pass, can you miss players out? And obviously when you're faced up, and can you go forward, and can you go forward quick, you know?
What the ball, Jay? Come on, yes. Come on, lads.
Also Boniface. Atawampa looking for a little trick to get past McKnight, but unable to on this occasion. Here's Kaya Martin, at the moment the match winner. He's had a good game today, Alfie Dorrington, at the heart of the Spurs defence, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been good today. Been confident on the ball, you know, created a lot as well for Tottenham.
Here's Runner and Golding. Switch of play to Ampa. It's against McKnight, who's on a booking, remember. Ball round the corner from Golding. Here's McMahon. Now Chibueze. Goes into the book for that one. Chinoza Chibueze. Just takes the sting out of things a little bit for Spurs. Certainly they'll take every second they possibly can. Elsewhere in the Under-18s Premier League, Crystal Palace are 2-0 to the good now against Aston Villa. And City running away with it 5-0 up away at Blackburn Rovers. And Arsenal back on level terms, 2-2 now, as Spurs make another change.
Hey, come on, boys, let's go again, come on! Hey, let's get you, Teddy, get us going! Come on, Lou, let's hear you! Okay. Chief, go higher! Go higher! Yes, Lou!
He will and the Apan who's come on for Max McKnight.
Follow in, Ed! Follow in! Open, Will! Let's try to balance!
Ball lofted forward, but it's a good header from Harrison Murray Campbell. Here's Raksaki. Cannons off the Chelsea captain for a throw-in.
Open to you. Get in, Jazz. Get in, Jazz. Sit. Brilliant. Drag.
Step in from McMahon. It's been quite a balanced second half, really, Gilly. You know, there's been a lot of possession without any real penetration from either team, and not been too many chances either to separate the sides. As it stands, probably deserving winners on the balance of things at Tottenham.
Yeah, I'd say if you're looking at it overall from the first to second half, yeah, you'd probably say that Tottenham do deserve to be in the position they're in. I just feel with Chelsea, there's still another level, like another gear that they've just not gone into today. I think in the attacking sense, I feel like they're just, there's not the urgency, you know. Whereas I think when Tottenham get it, they go quick, they're direct with it.
Speaking of being direct, it could be in here. Here's Kai Martin, already a goal to his name, gives it to the other goal scoring Mikey Moore. Wants to cut inside. Gives it to Tyrese Hall. Good football from Spurs in into play in the end, but thankfully Chelsea can get rid. And Lewis Flowers on his own, but it's in the Spurs half. Weaving run from Lewis Flower. It's gone for a goal kick.
I think he'll feel a bit hard done by then. I think he was hoping it was going to be a corner. Done really well, got the ball, he was in isolation, you know, had no support. And to create something out of that, you know, is hard, but he done well there.
He's not had a huge amount of involvement in the game. That's, I suppose, largely down to the way that Tottenham have been more in possession, but he's played fairly well today, Lewis Flower. He's got a goal, and for his limited involvement, I think he'll be fairly pleased with his personal performance. It's Kai Martin, switcher player looking for Iro. It's a good cross as well, Tyrese Hall. Another half chance for Spurs. It's quite a tough half chance though, I suppose, isn't it, Gilly, really?
Yeah, I think he's gone with his right foot as well. And he probably had time to actually take a touch, to be fair, and either bring it down or on the volley. But yeah, I think his right foot took it away from him as well. But great whipped ball as well in behind the defence.
Yeah, both substitutes linking up well there for Tottenham. 10 minutes to play here at Cobham. Still, they lead 2-1. Lewis Flower opening the scoring for Chelsea midway through the first half before Mikey Moore struck back before Rio Kaya Martin on the stroke of half-time. Gave Tottenham a 2-1 lead, and that's how we've been since then. Here's George Abbott. Kaya Martin. Just going to open up for Rio Kaya Martin. It's another close call.
You think where he's picked that ball up as well, near enough he was in his own half, or at least in the centre circle. He's picked it up and he's obviously drove the whole way. No really defensive pressure at all in that. Done really well.
Very nearly found the far corner as well, but Chelsea continuing to live dangerously a little bit as Spurs pile the pressure on with Oliver Iro. George Abbott. It's Andy Apan. Golding does well though for his team and wins possession back. Looking for his only outlet ball, which is Lewis Flower. Here's Dorrington. McMahon wanting his teammates to be a little bit more urgent, so starts to press himself.
It's hard though when you do that because you've got to go together. You know, if you don't go or one goes in isolation, then the player can just pick it up in the pocket.
And then all of a sudden, like you just said there, you've got spaces that begin to open up. Here's Oliver Iro. Stings the gloves of Ted Kerr, but not many options for Kerr to get Chelsea going as quickly as perhaps he'd like to have done. Instead has to go short to Caden Wilson. Into the final 10 minutes. Chelsea need to find something. Like we saw in the first half though, Gilly, there'll be a moment, won't there? There'll be a moment in the next 10 minutes where it will get a bit frantic for 2 minutes and 2 or 3 chances will present themselves in a game where it doesn't feel like many are.
Yeah, no, you'd hope so as well. I think, yeah, Lewis Flower, I think he's waiting, you know, he's not switched off up there. Any long ball coming up to him, or he's ready and he's alive to it. You just want him really picking them balls up a lot higher up the pitch rather than picking them up on the halfway line. He's got a lot of work to do, you know, he's up there on his own, really.
Absolutely, he's done a lot of selfless running, really, isn't he? Sort of pressing from the front. You know, we saw 2 or 3 opportunities in the first half where he very nearly got in. Could be a chance at the other end here for Tottenham as Williams slides it into Iro. Here's Oliver Iro looking for that far corner. He's always comfortably wide, but again, another half sighting for Spurs, and even on the balance of things, they've had the better of the chances, and they've certainly had more of them as well. Chelsea haven't got time on their side. We approach 5 minutes left of the original allocated 90. Here's Boniface. Andy Apan gets there. Golding hurried off it by George Abbott. I might penalised there. It looked like a foul, to be honest, Gilly.
I know, yeah. But I think you can hear it from the Chelsea coaches as well. They're saying drive it. They're saying like urgency, a bit more like just being a bit front-footed, which I think Tottenham have been this game. I think Chelsea have been a little bit lax, like they allow Tottenham to get their shape and get behind the ball, you know.
Final change for Spurs. Well, sorry, excuse me. The 4th change for Spurs will be Mola Ajayi, who's come on for potentially the match winner in Rio Kaya Martin. Harry Campbell spins the ball over to Caden Wilson. Here's Raksaki. Lovely ball into Chibueze. Here's Michael Golding. Atto Ampa. Boniface flashes it across goal. Could have gone anywhere. Unfortunately for Chelsea, it didn't go goalwards. It's more the build-up play that they'll have wanted, though, Gilly.
Yeah, obviously the patience in it, but also the urgency to switch the ball. And yeah, I mean, that cross is awful for a defender because that can come off anywhere and go anywhere, you know. It's one of them, had pace on it, it was whipped across. But yeah, much better from Chelsea.
Spurs looking to return the favourite at the other end, though. Here's Ajayi's first touch since coming on as a substitute. He's going to run Chelsea substitute in Frankie Runham. He's going to get to the byline as well. That's a really good save in the end.
Yeah, great save.
He's made some important stops today as Ted Kerr, hasn't he, really? And probably be disappointed to have, looks like, be on the end of a defeat, because he's played well.
Yeah, and I don't know how much he actually saw of that, but he done well to get it over rather than parry it straight back in to the area, because obviously there was a couple of Tottenham players there ready for the second ball, but he does well to get it up and over the bar.
Important save to keep Chelsea in it at the moment. 87 and a bit on the clock here at Cobham. Tyrese Hall's going to take every second that he can before eventually restarting play with this corner. Hall's corner. They're out by Frankie Runham. As far as Moore. So Tyrese Hall, swing one in. Caden Wilson with the header. Golden harried out of it. Boniface does well. Golden second attempt, and the third attempt will now get Chelsea moving. Here's Chibueze.
Leave it! Yes, Mike. Yes, Mike. Yes.
Time wasting, right? When you're winning, it's brilliant. And when you're losing, it's the worst thing in the world. I've lost my head so many times over that. But then I'm the first to be shouting, take your time when you're winning a game.
Those are the fine margins, though, aren't they, I suppose?
The game management side of it.
Absolutely. It's George Abbott. Very impressive in the middle of the park, mainly because you've not had to hear his name. It means he's done a good job on Michael Golden today.
Yeah, he's done really well. I think he was obviously given the job to man mark him, and he's not let him have a sniff. And when he has, obviously Golden has done well when he has been able to break away from him. But you say a large percentage of the game, he's been up behind him. He's not let him breathe.
Absolutely. Now he's won a free kick for his team as we approach the 90th minute. A dangerous position. Mikey Moore stood over it. Samuel Raksaki's gone in the book for that one as well. His probably final real sight of goal. That's a really good save again. Does well to push it out of danger, but keep it in play as well, doesn't he, Julie, rather than just flick it back for a corner.
And obviously Chelsea were first there to pick it up and won themselves a goal kick. Yeah, strong hand.
Good save, a number of good saves that Teddy Kerr has made today. Into the final few moments of proceedings here at Cobham. Chelsea need to find something then quickly. And Sam Raksaki gives it out to Frankie Runham. Now Chibueze. Caden Wilson.
Come on, Mike. Keep it one side. Deep. Nothing through us, George. Get across the leg.
Looking for Chibueze, but he's not going to get there on that occasion. Linton's going to just hook it out. It's kept in play though, and Frankie Runham's done really well to win possession back for Chelsea. Tried to spin, but Ajayi can pick up possession.
Come out of it, oh.
Harry Campbell shuts the door on Mikey Moore. Mentioned it there, you can hear the Spurs bench saying drop it. You can. You don't need to be cute at this point, do they? It doesn't matter if you hear it.
I think I openly used to shout it during the games.
Thrown by Andy Apan. Up by Murray Campbell. Andy Apan again. McMahon. But can't quite find him. Straight out of play though by Iro. If there is going to be any time, then it's very much against Chelsea. 92 minutes on the clock. Back to Kerr. He's going to launch it forward towards Lewis Flower. Up against Chaplin. Chaplin wins the header. McMahon can win the second ball. Now Jai. Mikey Moore has already got a goal to his name. Lewis Flower. Now Atto Ampa's got a chance. There's space to run into. Perhaps one final opportunity for Chelsea. Oh, it's great feet from Atto Ampa originally. It's going to fall to Michael Golding and it's in! We mentioned that he usually has a say, and my word, has he had a say. Time was ticking away. Michael Golding has equalised for Chelsea against the runner play again, it has to be said.
That's a great finish, but you can see the Tottenham defenders are shouting for him to clear the ball. And he don't. It takes time, and bang. Oh, no.
Right on the toes, right on the cusp of the referee's final whistle as well. Michael Golding just sweeps it into the far corner. Does well to not lash it as well there, Gilly, doesn't he? Because I suppose the danger is there when you're running onto it to just want to get some contact on it before the defender can.
Yeah, no, definitely. And probably out of all the players in the team, you probably wanted it to fall to him. But again, he's had a frustrating game in the sense of he's been man-marked, you know, and it just shows how key he is. That again, a player like that only needs a couple of yards, and look what he's done.
Absolutely right. We've mentioned on a number of occasions about him being a match winner in this Chelsea team, and he's got that in the locker to be a difference maker, and if Chelsea can come away with a point or something more here today, I think they'll probably look at that and reflect on it as a good day's work, because they've been second best for a lot of today. Atto Ampa, oh my word.
What a save.
What a save that is from Luka Gunter. Very, very nearly. Atto Ampa, what a touch, what a turn, and does everything right.
And I don't think the goalie was expecting that either. I think for obviously the distance that he was at, he probably wasn't expecting the shot. Fantastic effort though.
Can Chelsea go on and win it? Frankie Runham with the corner. Hangs one up towards Murray Campbell. It's going to fall to Chibueze. Still not clear. Oh, it's a foul given though. Golding standing on the ball there. And out of absolutely nothing, a second half that at times has failed to boil really. A frantic end to proceedings here at Cobham. Is there time for one more? Murray Campbell with the head up. Dorrington back forward. Wilson's looking to shield it, wins the foul and draws the proceedings. A proper London derby in the end of it. It started well for Chelsea after having to dig deep for quite a lot of it. Tottenham dominating proceedings in the first half hour. Lewis Flower getting the opener before quick fire double before the half-time whistle from Mikey Moore, and Rio Kaya Martin had Spurs ahead. Second half didn't really live up to a huge amount of its billing. Both teams feeling each other out, quite a cagey affair, and then as the game was ticking close to a full-time whistle, Michael Golding nips in to equalise. The points are shared. Spurs will probably feel a little bit hard done by, Gilly, but we don't mind that at all.
No, we don't at all, especially because it's Spurs. But yeah, I think they'll feel frustrated. Spurs obviously having the lead for that length of time. Also the missed chances that they had. But again, it's a bit frustrating in regards to Chelsea, because it took for that goal to happen for them to then lift the game. You know, if they'd have done that maybe a bit earlier, they could have been obviously going in a different scoreline. But yeah, I think overall they'll take the point because of the way the game has played out. Absolutely right.
Yeah, I think the point we'll look back on as being quite a good point in the end of it, because certainly with the 90th minute on the clock, we didn't think that it was going to be a point or anything to show for today, and a number of the players huffed and puffed for quite a lot of it. We mentioned Lewis Flower run himself into the ground quite a lot to try and make something happen today, and he'll feel justified that his name's on the score sheet, and also he's now coming away along with his teammates with a point. It's finished 2-2 here at Cobham. Chelsea 2, Tottenham Hotspur 2. Go through some of the highlights of today's game in a moment. Still plenty of football to come this weekend as well on the Fifth Stand app, but we mentioned that Spurs had the better of the opening proceedings and very nearly took the lead here through Will Lancashire, who, again, until coming off as a substitute, he played very well and probably a little bit disappointed not to be on the score sheet. Yeah,
and I think he'll look at that. It'll be, I mean, when he come off, you could see he looked a bit frustrated that he hadn't had a chance, or he had a chance but he hadn't put him away.
And his opposite, number 9, certainly did put it away. The only half chance really for Chelsea in the first half. Lovely through ball from Tariq George, and then really nice cultured finish from Lewis Flower. But again, that was the only thing to cheer about in the first half really for Chelsea, as Tottenham started to turn the screw. It looked for a minute though the game was really going to run away from them, because Michael Golding and Lewis Flower eventually falls to Chibueze, but well defended by Tottenham in the end. Again, we mentioned this in commentary, Gilly, but some last-ditch defending, which is fantastic to see from a defender's perspective, but also not something you want to see that regularly. No, you don't, and I think it is. I think it's just the decision-making, but that's what I think was the difference today. I think Tottenham in their defending, you see, and then 3 players sliding to try and block it, where I don't think Chelsea had the same attitude when it comes to defending. That was evident here in terms of the equalising goal. Kai Martin into Mikey Moore, had a bit of space and he found the bottom corner. Again, straight away, you could see that Tottenham were here for something more than just an equaliser, because they got the ball immediately and wanted to try and make things happen, and it wasn't too long before they did find themselves in front. And on the balance of play in the first half, they probably did deserve to take the lead into half-time. And this one, probably a disappointing perspective from Chelsea, because had an opportunity to maybe get it clear, and unfortunately, if you're going at half-time 1-1 or 2-1 down, there's a world of difference, isn't there? Yeah, no, definitely, and I think that's what the other thing was as well, is the timing of it. You know, it was so close to half-time. You just got to really, there's a couple of bounces, it's going back and forth between players. Tottenham are pressing high, just put your foot through it. It ain't pretty, but you'd rather do that than go in 2-1 down. Absolutely, yeah. It was a frantic end to the first half, and Rio Kaya Martin with the second Spurs goal there. He was very impressive for large spells of the second half. Here's another half chance for Lancashire. Caden Wilson and Ted Kerr between them doing enough. A number of important saves from Ted Kerr in the Chelsea goal today. Yeah, no, he was brilliant today. I think with his decision making, with the saves as well, and the areas he put it into, helped his team massively. It's a close call on that occasion. Alfie Dorrington just hooking it off the line. I don't think any camera angle is going to give us definitive proof, so I think we'll have to give him the benefit of the doubt on this occasion. But it's very close to creeping in the far corner. Lewis Flower not too chuffed with the referee's decision making. And this was a save late on, but now looking back to it, even more so how important that save was. Yeah, because he don't put it out for a corner. You know, he keeps it in play. Chelsea player picks it up, and then they get actually a goal kick from it. And Ato Ampa, lively as a substitute when he came on, made a difference here. It looked like perhaps the angle had been narrowed, but he does well to just keep it in play. And then sneaking in, Michael Golding to tuck away a very, very late equaliser for Chelsea. And again, one that will be celebrated massively, because a point when nothing looked very, very likely for long periods will be a point celebrated. Yeah, no, definitely, and it's that enthusiasm to stay in the game, you know, not to switch off. He could have been frustrated, he could have decided not to join in, but he didn't, he followed through, and he gets his reward for it. There are nearly 3 points there if Ato Ampa whips that in the top corner in the 94th minute. It's one that we're talking about for a very long time. Lovely quick feet to work himself the angle, and it's a very good save in the end from Luka Gunter to again secure a point for Spurs. Yeah, no, definitely, because I don't think he's expecting that either. It's a really good save, isn't it? A really good save from Luka Gunter to level proceedings. Yeah, our weekend of football isn't finished here on the Fifth Stand Up either. Make sure you join us tomorrow afternoon, 12:55, before a 1 o'clock kickoff, Chelsea versus Liverpool in the FA Cup. Looking forward to that one, because I'm going to be alongside you again, Gilly, so looking forward to that one. Yeah, no, definitely. It'd be, obviously, we had a little taste of it, didn't we, last weekend of it, so we had a little snippet. So hopefully tomorrow we get the full game. there's few games you get a 6-minute warm-up for, is there? But yeah, enjoyed that very much. Gilly, thank you for today, brilliant. And thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Points shared here at Cobham. Chelsea 2, Tottenham Hotspur 2.